Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of Who Do You Want to Be? How are you this morning, Sabine?
Hi, Abha. Good morning. I am really good. To be honest, I followed all of my beautiful morning routine. So at this time, I'm already up for 5 hours. Believe it or not, it's 9:12, and I've been up for 5 hours.
My
But
goodness.
no, I had a great day so
What
far.
is your morning routine? Tell us quickly.
So at the moment, I get up at 4:15 in the morning, and then I quickly walk the dog, and then I go to the stable and have a wonderful morning riding lesson with my horse before anybody else is in the arena, which is amazing. And then I'm back home by 6:15. I have 45 minutes to play with the kids before they leave for school. And then I get ready, I take my shower, I have my breakfast. Then I do a meditation for about 30 minutes. Well, and now I'm here with you. So that's my morning routine.
Wow. So much for that. That's something that AI cannot replace any of, which is so wonderful that you're able to have a beautiful morning routine that is not interrupted by technology.
That
So
is true.
thank you for sharing that. So today we're going to talk about something that I've been very torn about because I work in the AI space, because I create content with AI and I teach others how to create content with AI. It's all about showing up authentically online. And it's a common conversation that's happening where how much of AI should we use in our content? How can this content still be us and true to us if we're using AI to create so much of it, whether it's written content or video content? Because at the end of the day, we know that if we rely fully on AI, the content is pretty bad and it's not going to represent us truly because it doesn't have enough of our mind, energy, knowledge, soul in it. Now, when it comes to video content creation, the level of authenticity goes a whole different level because it is now possible for you to completely clone yourself using AI tools and get them to represent you online. And of course, you will monitor that and you will put your own script and you can do what you want to do with it to represent you authentically. But the question really is, how do we feel about that? And the reason I wanted to talk about it is I have been creating a clone of myself and I've done it for fun just to see how I feel. And all I've done at the moment is face detection. I've not done my face modeling or where basically you have to turn your face 180 degrees and it kind of maps everything, your movements, how you move your eyes, how you smile. And I've not done my full body movement mapping. So basically you have to walk up and down so that it captures how you walk, your mannerisms and your stride. And then you can create a custom model of yourself. Now, with just having done face detection, I am amazed at the amount of similarities I have gotten to me. And I've used it so far to create B-roll. And when I say B-roll, it is filler shots, like of me walking down the street, me drinking coffee, me on my laptop. And the similarity is really uncanny. And suddenly it made me feel like, oh my God, I don't have to pay for a photographer, videographer now. I don't have to spend a week planning a shoot. I don't have to spend a day shopping for new clothes. I don't have to edit these videos. I can just sit on my computer on my laptop in my pajamas and make B-roll of me in half an hour. So it's really made me rethink about what I feel is authentic. Is that authentic? If my B-roll is just me drinking coffee made by AI, as long as I say it's AI, is that okay? Is it not okay? Will it bother you if you know it's not me? So I don't know, Sabine, how do you feel about all this? How would you feel if you saw a video of me and knew it was AI?
It's a brilliant question, Abba, because just before we started this conversation today, you shared with me your Instagram account once more. Of course, I've been following you for some time, but you just drew my attention to, in particular, that one reel where you are drinking coffee. And when I looked at it, my very first thought was, oh, wow, this is so beautiful because it seemed so perfect. You know, your hair is falling down in natural waves. The blouse you're wearing just completely matches your your tone of skin. The makeup you're wearing is natural. Your skin looks perfect. Everything in that video is ideal. There is nothing that you could do in any better way. So I looked at it, and my immediate first reaction was, oh, I would love to have something like that. So that was the first thought that I had. But to be extremely honest with you, my second thought was, wait, is that actually real? Because it's so perfect, right? Even if we do invest a lot of time into videography, into having professional photographs taken, and I mean, I love having professional photo shoots. I have to admit that. I have a wonderful photographer. She's amazing. But it does take us half a day to produce those photos. And then it takes her a couple of days to go over these photos. And here's the point, also to do touch-ups and everything. So it's not the 100% photos that she takes in that moment and I use them that way. She also does some touch-up afterwards. Meaning, okay, is that still a 100% authentic photograph? Even that is, enhanced in a way or the other. But going back to your question of authenticity, I was thinking about my journey with AI. So I still remember how my husband came home one day and he was super excited and he said, "Baby, you have to take a look at it. This is called ChatGPT. Look at what it can do." And he put in a prompt, and the answer that ChatGPT spat out was absolutely astonishing at that point of time because it was so new and it was groundbreaking. And I also remember that I was super hesitant about this because I thought, I don't need a machine that does the thinking for me. I can do thinking by myself. That was step one. Step two was, okay, well, I'll give it a shot simply because everybody else uses it too. And the more I used it, the more I actually became friends with ChatGPT because I saw the opportunities I had with this, saving time, getting ideas that I would probably not have. And so now looking into using AI to recreate my persona to have a clone of myself could be the next step in this natural, let's call it evolution. But it doesn't sit right with me, at least not at this point. Maybe it will in a couple of months, but right now, I don't think that I would like to try that particular part.
I was exactly the same. I was always like, you know what? I'll use this for my writing and, for the written content because I know how to use it well and I'm able to infuse enough of my originality in it. So it's still authentic. I'm just having support, which is just like having an assistant to help me write better and faster. And I also thought that I would not use it or want to use it for video content because I actually like showing up. I like going on camera. I like speaking to camera. I like practicing how to speak because it's hard. It's a skill I'm happy to develop, and I don't mind making errors, and I don't mind that it's perfect. And it's funny that you mentioned, yeah, that picture, although it's like scruffy hair and me drinking coffee, it is very perfect. Yeah. Now, could I recreate that with a videographer? Maybe, because I would have makeup on and I would get someone to do my hair really nicely and she would touch it up and I would look perfect if I had a makeup artist and a really good videographer and the soft lighting and the perfect coffee drinking shot. So again, does it matter that I made it perfect with a makeup artist and a videographer or with AI? So it's an amazing question. Now coming to what I was saying before, okay, this is just for B-roll, right? Filler content. What about talking videos? Now, where I'm at now, having created a clone of myself, which I think is pretty good, and I think it will only get better, and it's going to save me so much time, energy, and money. How do I feel about speaking on camera with my clone? How do I feel about my clone speaking on camera on my behalf? I'm not feeling 100% good about that because A, I don't believe it's going to be able to be just like me. But that's probably because I haven't learned how to do it properly or tried enough to even see if that's a possibility. So again, it's lack of knowledge. And two, then I was thinking in the tool that I use to edit, which is called Descript, I've already cloned my voice. And I've cloned my voice because sometimes when I'm editing video and I say one wrong word, I can just replace that word with my voice rather than having to do a retake of the entire clip. So I've already cloned my voice to not have to reshoot something. Will I do it for video content? I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know. I think I'm going to play with these tools a bit more because I feel like just knowing how to use them and what they can and cannot do is very educative. It really helps you learn on what's possible. And again, it comes down to AI literacy. Because the more I'm using these tools, I'm seeing the flaws. Like, for example, one of the clones I created of myself has really creepy eyes. Like it makes this strange eye movement. But I only know it looks creepy because I know it's not me. And I'm like, I would never use that eye movement. And then I'm like, how do I get rid of this creepy eye? But I only know this because I'm playing with the tools. And it comes down to, again, learning how to use these, not only just to use them, but also to be educate yourself about them. So, and then interesting thing, what I'm going to say is my children were watching me do this. And they were like, oh my God, is that you? And then I'm like, do you think it's me? And then they're like, not really. You don't drink coffee like that. So it was also very interesting to have this conversation with them, where still photos, one or two they weren't sure of, but the moving photos, they were like, Mommy, you don't drink coffee like that. You don't walk like that. So again, I don't know. I mean, what are our expectations now from people online and the content we consume? Do we, how do we feel about us being authentic and B, receiving content from people that may or may not be 100% them?
You know, Abba, I just had a thought because it's also really something that keeps me occupied at the moment. Because since we talked about social media tools the other day and you were talking about Taplio, I now signed up with Taplio, so I'm using it. And in Taplio, you also have the opportunity to say, have AI suggestions to create entire posts for you. And I looked at that button and I was thinking, if I do that, what is the actual value that I, the real Sabine, can actually give to my audience? Of course, I can just have my entire feed on LinkedIn, all of my posts, 100% created by AI. I can do that. I can add AI created photos. I can add AI created videos of myself. None of that would be me. But since I'm a trainer and a coach, I'm really wondering what is the added value that I can give to my audience so that they are still interested in actually contacting me, that they are actually interested in consuming my content because they will know, okay, all of this might be AI created, but when I get in touch with Sabine, she can give me A, B, or C that AI cannot give me. So this is where I am in my train of thoughts right now. So for one, it's really what is the value that I can personally still create that AI cannot yet? Probably really to say that. But also, what are the values that I want to represent to my audience? If, for example, one of my values is that I want to be 100% authentic, then for me, it would not be the right move to have AI created content. If I want to be 100% authentic, then my posts have to be 100% authentic, meaning every word is written by me, every photo is a real one of me, every video is a real one of me. So those are really two different perspectives that I'd like to bring into this conversation, because that would be, let's say, the next level consideration when it comes to using AI tools.
I think the truth is, whether it's writing content with the support of AI or creating video with the support of AI, let's talk about writing alone. And we've discussed this in a few other episodes as well. The truth is, generic content is just not going to work. And any content that ChatGPT or any other AI tool is creating on its own without you, like even Taplio, is just not going to be very good. If you don't add your own experience, your own knowledge, your own authenticity, your own original thought to what Taplio is giving you as a first draft, your content is not going to do very well, let alone not be you. It's not going to do well because it's not going to stand out from the rest of the generic AI stuff that you're seeing out there. So if you use a tool like Taplio to help you write content, just like you would ChatGPT, but make sure that when you read it, it feels and reflects you 100%. I personally think that's still you being authentic because it will stand out. But yeah, it's a fine line, because why do you also want to spend 2 hours writing something when you can write the same thing, staying true to yourself with a bit of support from a tool? So again, it's about how you use these tools. And the same comes to video content. Like, what is okay, what is not okay? Video takes it to a next level because we are visual creatures and we are seeing you do things, and writing is, a bit static and it's just text on paper. So it's very nuanced. And I think, like you said, it's a very personal decision. Because the thing is, though, if you decide that you don't want to use AI at all and want to be, even for your writing, and just completely disregard the tools that you have at your disposal, what you're losing is time, and you have to be okay with that. So it is a personal choice.
Yeah, absolutely. I love what you were just bringing in, Abba, which is basically an introduction of a gray zone. So it doesn't have to be black or white. It doesn't have to be, okay, either I use this entirely and I leave it completely up to AI, or I say, no, I'm not involving AI at all. It's probably this, let's say, personally defined area of how much gray do I want to let in. Let's say, how dark should my gray be? So how much inspiration am I taking from AI, for example? So the way how I'm using Taplio at the moment is that I know what I want to post about. So I'm not using its inspiration, but I'm putting in a draft that I'm writing myself, and then I'm letting it refine it. And then I'm looking at the way how it refined it, and I will still tweak it a little bit here and there. But ultimately, when I compare my original draft with the second draft with my additions to it, that is a much better post that I'm much happier with compared to the very first draft that I made, which is great. So potentially, I could also imagine that if I wanted to take a video, I would take it of myself, but I might use AI just to enhance it here and there. Maybe change the way the light comes in, for example, or maybe there is a little bit more of a makeup touch up that I would love. So I'm allowing AI to do that. And this is how also gradually we can get used to different, let's say, degrees of involvement of AI in the work that we do.
And I think another thing you need to keep in mind, we all need to keep in mind, is that how does what we put online reflect on what happens when we meet somebody in person?
Yeah.
So if I'm putting all these amazing B-roll of me, which is like a very perfect version of me, almost a version I would like myself to be all the time, which is impossible. And then I show up and no one's really seen my non-AI version of me in a long time. And then I meet them in person. They're like, oh my God, this is you? And we spoke about this in another episode as well. So it's also same for writing. Like, if you write incredibly, your content is incredible because it's AI and you. It better be AI and a lot of you, because if a person meets you offline and you have none of that knowledge and none of that experience that you're talking about, and it's all blah, blah, again, that content has done you an injustice. Like, it's not really you. So when you meet people in real life, it's a bit deceiving. So I think the need to be as real as you can, irrespective of the tools you're using, whether you're using them to work faster or having touch-ups or think smarter, I think you need to truly ask yourself, would I write like that? Is that really what I believe? Would I ever look like that? Would I ever do that? Before you choose to put yourself out there like that, I think, because a lot of the world is online, sure, and a lot of businesses are being run online, but in real life connection is going to stay relevant and important, and maybe even more so. in the future. So another thing to keep in mind when you're using AI for your content. So when you ask yourself the question, how do you want to show up online in this age of AI? Ask yourself, what does authenticity mean to you? And what can you do to ensure that even if you're using AI tools to support you and help you work faster, help you work better and smarter, how can you ensure that the content that you're creating, whether it's video or text, stays true to who you really are? I hope you found that useful, and we'll see you again next week.